is in your life a lot of stuff you're going to have to deal with. But every area that you're able to overcome, then you're going to a new level. Every time you get ready to get through this one thing, and now you feel like you've overcome that, but then now something else comes. Pressure. But he says, I'm making up something. He says that when that diamond, it is a stone that is not to be desired. We can look over it and we can look at that stone and we can say that I don't want it, because all we want is the stuff that looks good. Trying to be something we're not. We're looking at social media and we're seeing what other people are doing. We want to be like them. We want to emulate everything that's not of God. Pressure. We get into a place in life and we're finding ourselves stuck. And now everything around us has changed. The people have changed. And now we're sitting on the outside because we've missed your moment. Pressure. When will you understand that what God has in store for you, what he is laying out for you, and what he is trying to get us to understand? But then we get caught up with the effects of life pressure. But then I understand something. Psalms 27:1. The Lord says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom I shall be afraid. I'm more afraid of not pleasing God than trying to please man. I'm more afraid of missing my moment that I'm going to get to heaven and end up in hell. I'm more afraid of trying to be in the in crowd and understanding that I'm still on the out crowd. Pressure. But when we can hold our position, the book of 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter, you see that now David is in this place. You see that David now is running up to some issues that he realized that what I am dealing with is bigger than just me. Yes, sir. I am dealing with somebody, yes, sir, who is coming against everything that I believe. I know that it was God that was with me in the wee hours of the night. I know that it was God that was with me when I was laying up under that tree writing all of those poems. I know that it was God that was with me when I was writing those poems and I was saying, God, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. Yes, sir. I know that this is the God that I serve. I know that it was with God that you were with me when I slew that lion and I killed that bear. God, I know that you were with me. Yes, sir. Some of us have forgotten that when God was there with you when nobody else was there. You forgot about when you cried out when you was in those prison bars and you said, God, will you deliver me out of this place? You forgot about when you went to the doctor and the doctor said you may have HIV and you prayed and you told God, Lord, let it not be. You forgot about when somebody put that gun to your head. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You forgot. So now you're faced with your Goliath. What are you going to do? You're faced at the moment that you're saying that, God, I got to make a decision. You've been there for me. When mama wasn't there, when daddy wasn't there, when my wife wasn't there, when my husband wasn't there, when my children weren't there, when the job couldn't suffice, you were still there. Says, what are you going to do? David now tells him, the book of 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter, 47th verse, goes and he says, read.
1 Samuel 17 and 47.
Read, sir.
And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth, not with sword and spear.
Read, sir.
For the battle is the Lord's.
For what now?
For the battle is the Lord's.
So when we start giving it to God, and we say, I'm tired of trying to do this on my own, I'm going to give it to God. Yes, sir. The moment that you walked into this service today, some of you got to have a made-up mind and said, I'm tired of carrying something that I can't fight on my own. I'm going to give it to God. I'm tired of trying to deal with something that I know that is getting the best of me. I'm tired of leaving here, coming in one way and still leaving out the same way. This battle is too much for me to fight on my own. But God, I need you to do something in my life on today. This battle is not yours, but you got to do something today. You got to make up your mind. You're going to say, I'm going to get rid of everything that's not like him. God, I know how good you've been to me. God, I know what you're delivering me from. God, I know the places that you're taking me to, because it's not my battle, but it's God that I'm giving it to today. Goes and David said, God, I know you're going to be here with me. You've been there with me all this time. Yes, sir. Why am I going to give up on you now? And I want some of you to take a recollection over your life. Everything that you've had to go through in your life, and you are still here. Everything that you've had to endure, all of the closed doors, all of the missed opportunities, all of the setbacks, all of your failures, but you are still here. And we got the audacity to come into God's house and to look for somebody else to cheerlead us. You got the audacity to come into God's house and to get somebody else to tell you to clap your hands. You got the audacity to sit there with your mouth all stuck out and you sitting there acting like you better than anybody else, that you ain't never been through nothing, that God ain't never took you through nothing. You got the audacity to come into God's house and not give him what belongs to him. How dare you? God has been good to somebody in this place. And because of what God has done for me and the things that he has delivered me from, I cannot sit down on God. Overseer, I hear your testimony and I play it over and over again. When you came into this house, 100 pounds soaking wet, look at what God has done to you now. Look at what God has delivered you from. God has been good to somebody in this house. And you can come in here and act like you better than everybody else. But I want you to understand something on today. That as you get to this place, David is saying, from pressure that I am being made. From pressure, I am forming you. From pressure, I am making you. Yes, from the pressure, yes, I am evolving you. From the pressure, I am trying to get you to see. Because of pressure, you're just not going through what you're going through because God has forgotten about you. There's pressure. There's a necessary pressure that God is trying to get us to understand. I'm making up my jewels. Somebody say pressure. I'm trying to get you to understand there's more to the end of your story. Somebody say pressure. Everything that God makes and he designs it because there is something that he's trying to take you through. Pressure. Pressure. You're sitting there and you're saying, why, Lord, why? Pressure. I see the world pulling back on me, Sister Brenda. Why? Trying to call me back out to the streets. Why? Yes, sir. Pressure. Yes, sir. Trying to get me to go back to do the same things that I used to do. Pressure. Why? Lord, just let me be free of all of this stuff. Pressure trying to get me to go back on drugs. Pressure. Why? Lord, why? I need you to do something in my life. You're trying to get me back into the place where I was once delivered. Pressure. Find myself in this cycle, doing the same thing over and over. Yes, sir. Again. Come on. But you got to realize this on today. He's making up his jewels. And under pressure is how you're going to be formed. Every time that God challenges you, he says, I am stretching you in your giving, He's stretching you.
Yes, sir.
Every time you feel like I done gave that and now something else comes up, he's stretching you. Because I'm trying to make you. He says, I want to see how much you're able to take. Stretching you. Stretching. I don't have enough money. But he said, I'm testing you because I'm stretching you. I got to give my tithe. Then you said offering, I'm stretching you. We got birthday offering, stretching you.
Come on.
Then we got to give our first fruits, I'm stretching you. Some of you got to understand this. You have given more in this season of your life than more money than you have made. And God has still sufficed you. Your lights hadn't went off. Your car hadn't got repoed. You had not been evicted out of your house. He's stretching you. Something that God gave us a year ago this month. Gave us something called the belly of the priest.
Yes, sir.
I'm stretching you.
Yes, sir.
Because if I stay connected,
Come on.
if I stay connected, if I stay connected, if I stay connected, if I stay connected, y'all gonna understand if I stay connected. But the moment that I lose my connection, then I start dying. Then I start experiencing things that I know I shouldn't. I gotta stay connected. Goes and he tries to get us. David now stands, and we know the end of the story. David takes the 5 stones,
Yes, sir.
goes up to Goliath, tells Goliath, after this day you shall be no more. Because he trusted
Yes, sir.
the process. He trusted his God. Some of you have lost your faith. You have lost your faith to believe that the God of the possible will make all of your impossibles disappear. You have lost everything that you have been birthed in salvation. You're now depending on your job for your next paycheck. You're depending on your business to give you your desires. You're depending on the people who you hang around to give you your happiness. But he says that those that will trust me, because I learned something, Sister Kelly. When I started giving my oblation, I was always a tither.
Yes, sir.
Gave my tithes, but there was something more that God wanted to release on his people. Stretching. Some of you start and you stop. You stop and you start. And you find yourself, I remember Bishop would tell the story all the time. There was 2 drunk men, and one they was thumbing for a ride.
That's right.
And the one they were sitting there thumbing, and cars would pass them by. All of a sudden, car got in and said, I only have room for one. Gets in the car takes him 1 block.
Yes, sir.
And the guy gets out the car, and the man standing 1 block behind him and starts laughing and says, you didn't went nowhere. He looked back and he said, I'm farther than you are. Some of y'all who are being committed to the vision of this house, you may not be where you want to be. But guess what? Those of you can look back and say, I'm farther than you are. Look at what my God is doing. Look at what my God is taking me. I'm not in the same place any longer. I'm getting ready to close, but the writer tells us in the book of 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, 16th verse.
Second Corinthians 4 and 16.
Read, sir.
For which cause we faint not.
We do what now?
For which cause we faint not.
Read, sir.
But though our outward man perish.
It what now?
The outward man perish.
Read, sir.
Yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
Now go back to the 7th verse. I want y'all to catch this.
But we have this treasure in earthen vessels.
What kind of treasure?
That the excellency of the power.
So God is saying that there is a treasure
Yes.
for those that will believe.
Come on.
And in this treasure, He's showing us, he says, that if those of you who will believe, go to the 7th verse, put the 7th verse on the screen. And those of you who will understand,
Yes, sir.
he says that the power may be of God and not of us. 8th verse. And when he goes and he shows us, he said, we're troubled on every side, distressed.
Come on.
You are perplexed, but not in despair.
Come on.
This is somebody's testimony. 9th verse.
Yes, sir.
Then he says, persecuted,
Come on.
but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Next verse. He said, always bearing about the body, the dying of our Lord Jesus, that life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our body.
Come on.
Because when I see, and I know I'm going to have to go through some good days, some not so good days, but I'm not going to stop. The moment that you start stopping along the way, the moment that you start giving up, and I'm going to tell you this last story and I'm done. It's a father and a son that went out on a fishing adventure. And as they were out, they didn't watch the weather report. They missed all of the signs. But a storm came. And as the storm came, the storm was too much for the little boat that they were in. And the storm came and took that boat and tossed it to and fro. And the storm came and overturned the boat and broke it all up into pieces. The father and the son was holding on with dear life. They found a buoy sitting in the middle of the water. Father and son sat there and they held on to that buoy. Time passed, nobody came. Hours passed. The father made up in his mind, he says, if we stay here, we both would die. Father told the son, he says, son, I'm going to swim back to the shore and I'm going to try to get us help. And as he swam, he says, I want you to hold on and I'll be back for you. And as the father left, he makes it back to the shore. He finds help. And they go back to the place where he thought that his son was at. And as he got there, he didn't see no sign of his son. The father crying, hurt, broken, sad, said, my son is gone. My son is gone. Father, with tears running down his face, screamed to the top of his lungs and called his son's name. He said, he heard nothing. The captain of the boat, tears in his eyes, seeing that what the father was going through, seeing the pain that the father was in because the son that he had left behind, he was not there. Now everybody else on the boat in tears because they see what the father was going through because he could not find his son. Father, to the top of his lung, calls his son's name one more time. Somebody said, did you hear that? And everybody got quiet. And he said, call him again. And he called his son's name. And with a small, faint sound, he hears it. And he said, call your father, call him again. He called the name of his son. And they said, we can hear it. Something when you call on the name of the son. When you start calling on the son, he may not show up when you want him to show up.
Yeah.
And they started moving. He called him again. The father called the son. He said, can you hear it? He says, I hear it. And they started moving to where the sound was coming from. And they got to the son and they put him in the boat. the father embraced his son. And he tells the captain looks at the son, he says that, how did you hold all of this time? How was you able to sustain through this storm? He said, I heard the voice of my father.
Yes, sir.
He said, I heard the voice of my father. And my father told me to hold on and don't let go. When you see the storms of life coming up against you, I'm going to tell you just like the father told his son. He says, hold on and don't let go. When you see that things are coming up against you, I'm telling you today to hold on and don't let go. Somebody got that kind of praise in this house this morning, that when you can listen to the voice of your father, and your father is telling you that you can make it. Your father is telling you that the storms of life may come. The winds may roll. Trouble is coming up against you. Your back may be up against the wall. But I need somebody today say, I'm holding on and I won't let go. I know it may not feel like it. I know you may not see it. But somebody today is going to hold on and don't let go. Trials may come, troubles may come, the wind may blow, your bills against you, your car got repoed, your house is in foreclosure, but somebody today, say it with me, I'm going, and I won't let, I'm going to hold on. Somebody said, I'm going, and I won't let. But that's the moment you start giving God praise. When you start saying, I'm ready to go. When you start saying that I'm holding on. My faith and my trust is in my Lord. I'm holding on and I won't let go. I'm holding on and I won't let go. You all have to understand something on today, that you're made under pressure.
Yes, sir.
You're sitting there and you're saying, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. He said, I'm making you. No, I failed 7 times. I got to get back up again. He said, I'm making you. If I'd have gave up along the way, Gerald, I wouldn't be standing here today.
Yes, sir.
Moment in your life where you feel that what you're going through is not significant. What the Father sees that what you're going through, but all He's telling you is hold on and don't let go. The enemy, biggest attack, Brother Hill, he wants us to get us to a place where he's saying you don't need to come to church. You don't need to give into the offering. You don't need to be a blessing to your leaders. You're barely making it. But you say, wait a minute. Because of his yes, I'm here, Sister Kathy. Because of his yes, I'm standing today. Joe, the wind's gonna blow. Storms gonna rage. But there's a healing that is coming to your body. I mean, on the words of our bishop, your body is gonna be made whole. Y'all don't understand something. Some of y'all somebody should have did a lap right there. Because if God can hear of a stroke, if God can deliver and make a body whole again, say, hold on and don't let go. But I want you to challenge everybody in this place right now. God just spoke something to me. And he says, there's something that I'm going to release over this house.
Come on, sir.
And in this year of Jubilee, and what I didn't get to explain in that text, Sister Verona, he was saying that in this year, don't plant, don't reap, because everything that you need, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yes, sir.
There's a rest that's coming to the people of God. There's a rest that you've been laboring, you've been toiling, you've been working on that vision, and you've been working on that seed that you've been planted and been trying to get it to manifest, and you've said, I've been watering it, I've been fertilizing it, but I still have not seen it manifest. But he said, this year, in this year of Jubilee, Pastor Nancy, I said, when God revealed that to me, this is 25, 75. He said, this is, we've been talking Jubilee, we even declared a whole year. He said, but this is the year of Jubilee. And he said, everybody who is connected to this branch, everybody who is connected to this branch, say your leaves won't wither, they won't fail. But right now, God is saying to me, he said that some of you needs a release. And this release comes because of your stretch. And some of you, I saw Dr. Brenda do this last week. She said that God told her that what your normal giving, that there's a double that God is requiring. And those of you who responded to that, you've seen so far you have not missed a beat. God always sustained, but what if David would have gotten to the place when he reached his Goliath and he backed up on God? God is trying to pull something out of each and every one of us. And as he's doing that, he's stretching you. Some of us have gotten to a place where we put God on a budget. But God said, if you will trust me on today and stretch, that I am going to release something into the lives of my people, because this is the year that you don't have to work for it. All you got to do is just believe me. And as you believe me, I'm going to bless you in abundance like you've never been blessed before.